Top 3 altcoins to buy in June to capitalize and actually make some money in crypto. They are specifically connected to the season of the altcoin that should be reaping quite soon due to its ETF. Let's actually dive in. These are your safe picks. This is something you can just buy on spot and wait, and most likely it will appreciate in value greatly, or you can also play with some leverage, which I am doing myself as well. Let's kick off. Right now on the marketplace, we are actually in Ethereum trade, mainly because of Ethereum ETF and also because of the time. Because if you actually know the charts and if you look into the charts, it's time for these things to move up. And you might even say that it's all because of the ETF and things like that. ETF is just an event to explain the chart moving up. It wasn't the charts for Ethereum to move up. Enough time actually went by already. And all these catalysts are usually being used to explain to you why certain things are essentially running. And often they have nothing to do with the fact that this thing would actually be running. They're just drawing the charts and they're explaining to you with the inflows, with the ETFs, with the events, why things are either going down or either going up. But let's actually start with 3 altcoins, 3 tokens that I think will do very well in the months of June. First of them is Arbitrum, which is layer 2 on Ethereum. Current market cap of Arbitrum is $3.2 billion with the FDV of $11 billion. So if you're entering with the lower amount of funds, you won't be getting like a 3x or 4x or 5x short term, right? But if you're entering with the large amount of funds, you just want to buy something, you want to get exposure, you just want to chill and wait and take profits, this is exactly the token for you. On top of it, we do also have tools like leverage, and with leverage you can actually get multipliers on the move of this thing once it will start be moving. I would say that Arbitrum is essentially the first candidate to actually start moving after Ethereum will surge up. Main reason for that is because it's actually largest layer 2 at this stage. Arbitrum has $3 billion in total value locked. That's the largest layer 2 by total value locked at this stage. We do have Ethereum, we have Tron, then we have BSC, Solana, and then we have Arbitrum. And what's interesting is Arbitrum total value locked is only 30% smaller than the total value locked on Solana. And the market caps, they are like 35x difference, right? Just crazy in the first place to see these things and understand these things as well. You do also have your layer 3 solutions on Arbitrum like Zai. They are doing some initiatives to actually become a gaming chain as well for play to earn and for crypto gaming. And in general, it's just the first safest peak VC pump and dump for Ethereum TVL holders. That's where they hold the funds if they're not holding them on Ethereum in the first place. I do expect for Arbitrum to appreciate in value just because of the fact we were at $2.20 back in January, and we were at the same levels back in March as well. Right now we are at $1.11. The market cap is probably higher because we definitely had certain unlocks. If you would actually check out the market cap, you can see that it was 4.6 billion and right now it's 3.2 billion. So again, market cap is down 30% when the price is down 50%. The main reason for that is because new tokens were essentially added into the circulation, and this is most likely dumped some of the tokens right here that they had before. Nevertheless, fully diluted valuation is a meme in the bull market, because in bull market no one cares. They're just buying, aping into coins, and retail participants, they just don't care in the first place about these things. So my first pick is Arbitrum. I think it's quite safe to loan this thing because I do believe we are at the bottom as well. I do believe this is something that should be appreciated in value short term. Second pick is also Ethereum layer 2, which is Starknet. This one is quite interesting because it has a lower market cap, 1.6 billion at this stage. It's also a newer project. In case of Arbitrum, we do see that it essentially launched around March of last year, 2023. So it launched in the bear market, right? And with Starknet, it launched recently, pretty much launched in February, and it's just going down since February. And at certain stage, this consolidation should be over, and you need to actually teach yourself over time to enjoy buying into this chart. This was the capitulation during the dump, right? And right now consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. Weak hands are selling and strong hands, long-term hands, they are essentially buying into this asset. I do expect that this thing should be doing quite well short-term with Ethereum. I'm showing you your safest Ethereum bets because all these layer 2s, once Ethereum will start to surge up, they will get their percentage of liquidity and most likely they will outperform Ethereum. The issue is there are too many of them at this stage, but at the same time we do have something called rotation. Maybe one or two will pump the first and then liquidity will come into others, pumping other tokens as well. By TVL, we do have Starknet on the 26th spot, which is very, very low. TVL of Starknet is 300 million, which you might say is quite low. Well, it's a new project, it's a smaller project, that's why people probably trust it less, but this is where the opportunity usually is, because when everyone appreciates something in the marketplace, when everyone accepts the thesis on the marketplace, there is close to zero upside actually left. Starknet is definitely a lower market cap Ethereum layer 2, which did not have its run up yet, because speaking of Arbitrum, you might say that it actually went up from 0.8 to as high as 2.2. And you might say, oh, it's only like 3x and things like that, but it's actually a larger market cap asset. You could have put hundreds of thousands of dollars in here and you would be quite safe. So Starknet, pretty similar picture, but we did not have our run-up yet. We should have it at a certain point of time. That's why I'm quite bullish on the current situation in Starknet, and that's why I'm just liking this chart very, very much. I'm not holding it myself. I was longing it, unfortunately I closed the loan myself. I would be up quite nicely right now if I would essentially keep the loan in the first place, but I do think it's at a very, very nice spot at this stage. Last but not least is Optimism. And Optimism is very, very interesting one because it definitely had its run-up from 0.5 to as high as 4.5, 9x's. That's essentially the token that showed largest amount of returns this cycle, speaking of Ethereum layer 2s. And these should be the things that you actually like and appreciate yourself, because if the project is strong, if it's outperforming, it usually means that there is a chance that this project will continue to outperform. And we are in the multi-month consolidation on Optimism as well. Pretty much from mid of April, right now you can say that we are close to the mid of June, so it's 2 months already when we are consolidating on this thing. And one thing I like about Optimism is the fact that Base and Blast layer 2 solutions, they're actually based on Optimism tech stack in the first place. So they're using that technology in order to run and launch their own layer 2s, which is definitely interesting, makes sense, and kind of you're getting exposure to Base because they won't have the token, and you're getting exposure to Blast as well through owning or longing Optimism, which is very, very interesting type of narrative in the first place. Probably your exit liquidity with this type of narrative would be tech people who understand these things, but nevertheless, for example, there is no way to get exposure to the token of Base, right? But there is a way to get exposure to Optimism, which is the technology that Base is actually built on. Very, very interesting correlation right there. And I do believe that's why essentially this asset is getting appreciated, because it's being used as this foundation for other technology in this space. Current market cap is 2.7 billion with the FDV of $10 billion at this stage and 25% of tokens in circulation supply. I actually longed this thing just today before the video, and I decided to close my DOT loan as well, because I tend to front run things too much. I want once just not front run things in the first place and just long the assets that most likely will be surging up the most, with Ethereum surging up, because DOT is somewhere probably at the end of the picture, right? It won't start to surge up along with Ethereum, at least to my thinking. And these things, they have the options to actually start surging up along with Ethereum starting to surge up. Here's the loan that I essentially wanted to show. I just entered it. I'm down $500 at this stage, $160,000 position with 7x leverage and 23,000 margin. Let's see how this asset will be performing. I do believe that all of these things, all these Ethereum layer 2s should be doing quite well short term, with Ethereum going back to its all-time highs. I do believe we're in a very, very interesting situation in the marketplace where we have the narrative of Ethereum ETF, and Ethereum, it pretty much went down by $800, but it's still kind of at the same levels. And these layer 2s, they're not pumping yet as well, which is a very, very interesting situation. It almost feels like manipulation. It almost feels like someone needs a bit more time to actually be able to accumulate these things. That's why essentially no one is talking about them, and they're not doing a lot of marketing currently at this stage, and Ethereum is being at the same levels. Very, very interesting thing, because if you essentially have larger capital, if you want to invest hundreds of millions of dollars, you need OTC deals, you need to buy people with these type of supplies. And these things, they are not being done in 1 week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. They're taking months, usually. Most likely, they were accumulating before, most likely they are in the accumulation period as well. Because the obviousity of Ethereum ETF and Ethereum trade is just right there. It's right there on the market. And it's a technology. It's not a store of value. It's a technology in the first place. And we know that tech stocks, they tend to do very, very well. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.